What's up guys, welcome back to another 410 Gaming Destiny 2 video. Today I have an insane build for you called the Invincible Charged with Light build. It is a build that I have created to keep me alive in some of the hardest activities such as nightfalls, raids, nightmare hunts, and dungeons. Okay, I use this in pretty much every activity that I play now, and it is just insane how well you can stay alive. It really just focuses on Charged with Light, which is a concept that was brought in Season of Dawn. There was a lot of great mods once you got Charged with Light, but the initial ways to get Charged with Light were a little confusing, and since then they have elaborated greatly, especially with this season with the Prismatic Recaster. They are selling a lot of great mods this season, and you should really pick those up. This is going to focus around Protective Light and some other mods that I'm really digging right now, and it's really going to help you stay alive. I mean, like I said before, I use this in every activity. I'm completely in love with it, and I know once you watch this video and try this build out yourself, you're not going to want to take these mods off. I mean, it's really, the survivability is off the chain. So I'm going to show you which loadouts I like to use. There's a couple different options for as far as guns that I like to use for this build, and the armor mods are pretty much universal for any class. Whether you're a hunter, a titan, or a warlock, you can use this build. There's also a lot of exotics that can buff this build, so you're going to want to make sure you check those out as well. I'm going to go in detail on the hunter because that's what class I like to use, but like I said, any class this build will work. I can't wait to show you this guide, guys, so let's just jump right in and get started. Alright guys, so I'm going to go over a couple different loadout scenarios that you can use. I personally like to use the Hunter guys simply because of Night Stalker, top tree with Vanishing Step. That really helps me survive. As soon as I start taking damage, I can go invisible, get behind cover, and really start to try to figure out a way to start regenerating my health. Other recommendations would be top tree Ward of Dawn on the Titan, bottom tree Nova Bomb Warlock with Devour, or middle tree Dawnblade. I will go into more details on those subclasses in a little bit with some exotics that will help benefit you with this. So let's go over some guns, guys. I choose to use Anarchy here. For those of you that don't know, it shoots grenades that stick to surfaces and chain arc bolts. This is really great for dealing damage over time to bosses. If you shoot 2 shots into them, it will actually slowly tick away damage, which means you can pop in and out of cover, maintaining damage over time, which is extremely important, especially for a survivability build. You're not out in the open, you're not taking damage, and you're continuously damaging the boss. Sometimes you can even shoot 2 of them into a major and just run away and it will pretty much die. Maintaining cover while dealing damage is extremely important in encounters like the Prophecy Dungeon, where the boss will teleport you back to the beginning, and there's Hobgoblin Sniper, so you can shoot a couple ticks into the boss, kill a couple enemies, shoot a couple more ticks, then pull out your mountaintop or whatever gun you're using for DPS and just rip into them. I really like the Summoner and Gnawing Hunger right here. Auto rifles are in the meta right now, and they're just overall great for slaying, especially if these guns are masterworked, creating orbs, which will benefit you in this build because that's how you're going to take charge. Mountaintop is another great weapon that I've been using just for DPS with this build. You shoot a couple Anarchies, you switch to your Mountaintop, blast 1 shot off. You can probably get like 3 or 4 Mountaintop shots before you have to swap back to your Anarchy and shoot 2 more shots into the boss. If you would like to use a primary kinetic, I recommend Randy's Throwing Knife. It's pretty reliable. I've been using it ever since it came out, and it's just great for slaying ads. Or the Cold Denial. This is a great weapon. It also can roll with Unrelenting. I have not been fortunate enough to get an Unrelenting roll on this gun, but I do have an Unrelenting roll on my Hollowed Words fusion rifle. So if you want to use a different kinetic weapon and you want to reap the benefits of Unrelenting, this is definitely the way to go. What Unrelenting does is rapidly defeating targets triggers health regeneration. This is going to be huge for survivability. If you're hurting, you just switch to your fusion rifle, let off a couple shots, get that to proc, and then find cover as quickly as possible. If you don't want to use Anarchy, or if you haven't been fortunate enough to get it, you can use the Falling Guillotine, which you get from the season pass this season. You're definitely going to want Relentless Strikes and Whirlwind Blade with a jagged edge, and this master works for impact. Once you masterwork this thing, it is nasty for dealing DPS. It's great with this build because you can get in close and sword some enemies. If you do start to take some damage and Protective Light procs, you just dodge, go invisible, get out of town, heal up, and then go back in for more damage. All right, so let's get into the bread and butter and really figure out what's going to keep you unstoppable in this build, and that is the armor mods. On my helmet, guys, I really like to use Striking Light. Okay, and what this does is while charged with light, defeating combatants with melee damage, and your sword spawns one orb of light for your allies and consumes one stack of charge with light. We're not really focusing on that. We're more focusing on gaining the damage resistance against combatants while sprinting, which is a secondary perk. Why we want to use this perk is because a lot of the times I'll be running into an encounter and I'm not even taking damage. As soon as I start to take a little bit of damage and I can see my health starting to go down, I will literally dodge and sprint out of there. I'm invisible because I'm using Night Stalker and I'm just getting out of town. Any combatants that are shooting me while I'm running, I'm really taking little to no damage. The way you get this is to proc is you have to have another arc mod socketed. So I normally will run a sword ammo finder because I do like to run a sword with this build. If I am running Anarchy and I'm running the Cold Denial Pulse Rifle, I'll switch this out with one of the enhanced Pulse Rifle targeting mods. Or if I'm using my EP Shotty like I talked about earlier, I'll sling that on there. You will take virtually no damage and it just increases survivability a ton. The next perk we're going to be going over that I have on my arms is Protective Light. This is literally the mod that you have to have for this build to work, okay? It does go on Void and it does take away 10 strength, but that doesn't really matter in this build because the main thing we're looking at is what this mod does. While charged with light, you gain a significant damage resistance against combatants when your shields are destroyed. This effect consumes all stacks of charged with light. The more stacks consumed, the longer the damage resistant lasts. If you guys remember my Grandmaster video that I did last season, I did use this and I was only able to stack 2 charges of light, which gave me 7 seconds of damage resistance once my shields were broken. I can get 4 stacks of light, which increases that to 14 seconds. Sometimes my shields are broken, I have 14 seconds, I can dodge, get out of there, find cover, and my health is already regen by the time my 14 seconds has ticked down. Taking charge is going to be the main way that we actually get charged with light for this build to work. You become charged with light by picking up orbs of light. All you need to do to become charged with light is have masterworked weapons. When you get multi-kills with this, it's going to drop an orb. Any orbs that your teammates drop will charge you with light, and it's really the best way that I have found to become charged with light. You can substitute this mod out for some other mods, such as Shield Break Charge, or any of the ammo kill ones where you become charged with light by rapidly defeating combatants with auto rifles, trace rifles, or machine gun. That's a really good one, but for me and my fire team, we're always creating orbs of light, so this taking charge is really great. For my exotic, I will be running Orpheus rigs on this build. This is amazing because obviously, you know, when you use this, you are getting your super halfway back, or you can get it up to halfway back while creating orbs for your teammates. If you do have a teammate that is running Powerful Friends, that's really great too, because when they become charged with light, you also take 1 charge if you aren't already charged with light. So that's going to help you out a lot to get that initial charge. Now, the big difference between this build and my build that I ran before is the new Supercharged mod. This mod effects do stack with other copies of this mod, and you can get up to ×5. I only run 1, so when I get charged with light, I can get a maximum of 4 stacks with this build. I don't really know if the 5th stack would be worth it, because that's really going to only increase your charge with light by another 3 seconds. So it's going to increase it from 14 to 17 seconds. That would be insane, but like I said before, I'm already getting my health back by the time my 14 seconds has run out. So 1 supercharged mod is plenty. The supercharged mod, the taking charge, the striking light, all those 3 together are working in conjunction with your protective light. Once you get up to 4 stacks, that protective light is going to be ready to go. And as soon as your shield is broken, it's going to get nasty, okay? You're going to stop taking damage. You're going to use the striking light to get out of town. That's 14 seconds that you can sprint while taking literally no damage. The protective light and the striking light together is just nasty. You will take no damage, I promise you. Especially if you dodge, go invisible, you can just get out of there and it's really, really nasty. All right, now we're gonna go into the Warlock a little bit. I wanna show you a couple exotics that can really benefit you here. If you are using Devour, you can consume your grenade, then you have 7 seconds to get a kill. As you're getting kills, that 7-second timer will reset and you can continue to slay. Your health will go up with every kill. If you use these Karnstein armlets, which aren't very popular, you can use this in conjunction with this build. Melee kills instantly restore a large amount of health and continue to restore health afterwards for a short duration. So if you're up in the mix, you're getting shot, your shield goes down, you get the melee kill, your health starts to regen, you sprint out, and you should be fine. A lot of people will also use Nazarek Sin with the Devour build. Void damage kills increase ability energy recharge rate. So that's any void kills, void weapon, void abilities. That really works well in conjunction with Devour as well. A lot of people are using that right now to solo the Prophecy dungeon. For the Titan, you can use a One-Eyed Mask. What this does is highlight an enemy who dares to damage you. Once you kill that enemy, you will get an overshield. Another exotic that I think is very interesting for this build is the Mask of the Quiet One, which grants ability energy when you're damaged. When critically wounded, regain maximum health on kills. So you get critically wounded, Protective Light kicks in, you get a couple kills, and guess what? You're regenerating your health to maximum as soon as you start getting a couple kills. So this is actually really nasty. It is a very underrated exotic. You will not use this in the Crucible. But again, this is another exotic for the Titan that can really help you out with. All right, guys, now that we've gone over the guns and the armor that I like to use, which mods and why, we're going to show you this build in action. All right, it's the moment you've been waiting for. So let's get right in and see exactly how this works. All right, so you can see here that I'm charged with light, just one singular charge. So my shield breaks here. I go down to a 7-second sheltered by the void, which only really gives me enough time to get out of there when my health starts to regenerate. This is extremely helpful, but I'm going to show you the difference between the single charge and the 4 charges here in a moment, and you're really going to see where this build kicks it into high gear. You can see that my teammate here has just dropped a well, dropping 3 orbs. I pick those up and I'm immediately charged times 4. This is really what you're looking for in this build. The charge 1 will get the trick done, but the charge with light times 4 is really what's going to benefit you and keep you alive. Now you can see here I'm getting into a little bit of trouble, and my shield is going to break here momentarily. And once that happens, you can see that I'm now sheltered by the void for 14 seconds. Now my health is regened, and I still have about 7 seconds left. So that's really going to help me not take any more damage as I'm going to pick up my teammates or collect more orbs to get my charges back up. You can see that I'm already seeking out orbs. I'm charged with light times 1 again. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this orb here and become charged with light times 2. That's really the key to this build, is just once your shields break, creating orbs as quickly as possible and becoming charged with light again. You can see here that I'm taking down this knight. I'm going to go in and get my shield broken again. I'm going to go invisible. That way I stop taking damage. I'm going to start sprinting. If any enemies shoot me, I'm not going to take any damage now that I'm in a full sprint. And I'm going to be able to regen my health, go back in for this ogre, and slay him out as quickly as possible. At the end of this video, I am going to attach a Nightfall, a 1050 that I did for a 100k score. I did use this build in that Nightfall this week, and my shield was only broken 1 or 2 times, so go ahead and check that out. I can't express to you enough how many times this build has saved my life. As you see here again, my shield is once more broken, and in a time where I normally would have died, I was able to escape, start to regenerate my health, kill some adds, and grab some orbs. This build will save your life. I know it looks easy in here because my shield's not really being broken that often. That's because I'm using a lot of other mods that are also helping me keep my shield up, especially Perpetuation on my Hunter Cloak. So give it a shot. Let me know in the comments what you think. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it's helped you out as much as it helps me. Like I said before, I use this in almost every endgame activity. I recently did a flawless Scourge of the Past with my fire team to get Blacksmith. That video is going to be coming out soon, just so you can see exactly how this build works in detail. And there's a ton of Charged with Light mods that you guys can use and create your own builds. Decon and I are working hard to put these videos out for you, just to help elevate your game in any way possible. You need to be using these builds, guys. I mean, they just really help you out tremendously. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have, make sure to give me a thumbs up, like it, subscribe, hit the bell on your way out, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
It's some kind of summoning seal. There's a network of magic running deep into the arcology, powered by void light. They're using void light to summon something down there.
Hello? Is anyone there? I just heard somebody. Commander Zavala, can you hear me?
We can't let the Hive use these to fuel their magic. Yes, we can hear you.
Thanks, the Traveler. I can barely hear you. Let me get to a better position.
Guardian down.
We came down here as a squad of 9. Got picked off one by one. Watched a wizard rip the light out of my best friend and funnel it into some kind of crystal.
These are all Guardians. They're harvesting Guardians. down. We can still stop this. We just need to use crystals to short out the summoning ritual.
That'd be a great plan, if there were any powered crystals in here. I take it back. Together, we're gonna end this.
You have another plan?
Nope. Same plan. Give Sloane my regards.
She sacrificed herself. This ends here. welcome. Wherever you are, thank you. We won't forget what you did today.